January 1, Saturday, just less than a fortnight back, 11 a.m. sharp. I put on my TV. I watch Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presenting the budget. My eyes on TV. On my lap is my mobile phone. I already kept certain things with the hashtag ready union budget, etc. So on TV, I was watching Finance Minister presenting the budget. Of course, along with that, even though it was a Saturday, the stock market was on, so how the market was behaving. And every time, every 5 minutes, 7 minutes, I was putting on my, looking at my mobile phone and was tweeting the important, relevant things, what I felt is important. It took about 1 hour, 14 minutes, probably the shortest budget speech got over. Then I hit my laptop. There I just started scrolling through the budget document on the government website, budget website. So 11, she started. By 12:15, speech over. By 1:30, I am through with the budget, what exactly the budget said. And then I came back to my TV channel. I was watching the discussions and various ways of looking at the budget. Next morning, little more I got from the newspapers, not much, because everything was over by that time, mostly. What I got the newspaper, primarily the views, the news and the news, what we can use. I got it by when the budget was on and the later that evening. Cut to 30 years back in 1990s. Even though I started my career as a Times of India trainee journalist in Mumbai, for some personal reason, I had to go back to Kolkata and relocated there for a couple of years with a business paper. Budget day, it had to be the last day of February, evening 5 p.m. There was no television, business television, there was no Wave, there was no Twitter, there was nothing. So what happened is the reporters based in Delhi would write his or her story and fax it to Kolkata office. And one person actually flew down from Kolkata to Delhi, collected the budget papers sharp at 5 p.m. from Parliament House, went to the airport, took a flight back to Kolkata, rushed to Kolkata office. Why? Because those budget papers need to be torn and pasted on larger papers and get it printed as a part of budget paper on the very next day. So we were going through the we used to go through various, Kolkata was, West Bengal, those days where from a business perspective was known for jute, heavy engineering and tea. Nothing much about finance. So, and budget was mostly about post-liberalization area, cutting down import duties. I still remember we used to make fun of it. Caprolactam. One caprolactam is a chemical which used for making plastics and some artificial fiber. So how much the import duty cut on caprolactam? That was the kind of excitement among us. And then we would stay back about 4:35, 5:30. The paper would get printed, we'll smell the paper and then head home. So that's what budget now and budget then. Now let's look at how the things have changed. Everything has changed. Those days, only newspaper, pretty relaxed life. You come back to, you may not even come to the office. You attend a press conference in morning, over breakfast, or over lunch, or over tea. Irrespective of the time when are you doing this, you actually are filing the story late evening. Because there was no rush and there was no, I would say that people are not waiting for information which they can use in their daily life when it comes to dealing with money. Things are very different now. Why it is? You have heard that financialization. In India, we are talking about now financialization, which is a relatively recent phenomenon. Stock market had all along been there, bank deposits had all along been there, But post-COVID, in the past few years, people are talking about financialization, meaning people, masses awareness about how to make money. It's no more the gold and real estate and something, and gold and real estate, etc., are the preliminary vehicle to carry your money. There are many others, which is why you are saying the AUM uh, of, of, of mutual funds are going up and up, SIPs are going up and up. You will find that more and more investors are taking direct exposure to equity, etc., etc. So that is one part of the story where people's need for information is increasing, and other way is there's the interconnectivity of the world. World is interconnected. What's happening in US? Trump, what is he doing every day? You can call it a Trump tantrum. Trade issues and all. That's affecting the market. That's affecting people's life. What happens in China, that affects our market. What happens in US Federal Reserve, their policy making body, FOMC, meets. All of us, well past midnight, we watch. We keep our TV on to see what is this Federal Market Committee, Monetary Committee, FOMC, is doing with the interest rate. Is it going to cut? Is it staying put, etc.? Because next day we'll see in the impact on the market. So this is a very interconnected world, and everything is connected. Your debt market, your equity market, your currency market, everything is interconnected, and everything is going up, going down, etc. is by information. Information is the key to understand things, key to take decision. Have you ever thought of this? Look at any factory in the world, be it chemical factory, cement factory, or making medicine. There are multiple raw materials, and then you get the finished product. But if you see, equity market is a factory, bond market is a factory, and our banking system is a factory. Now, the products produced by these factories, the raw material and the finished product are the same. It's your money coming into banking system, and I am taking it in the form of auto loan or home loan. So, can you identify any other product in the world where the raw material and finished product is the same? There is nothing there. So here, you just process it and you package it. What comes as in the form of FD or CASA, any current deposit and savings deposits, and any other form of liabilities, just become your home loan, my auto loan, and corporate India's corporate loans and projects infrastructure loan. So here, and money and water are the two different things. Water goes down and money goes up. So the savers want their money not to go the water way. They want the money to go up. And it's like how the money can go up. How do you fix that trajectory for money? You can do this only you have the right kind of information. So what happened is, you see the high tide and low tide. High tide and low tide, those in Mumbai, many of you must be living on the sea and close to the sea. I every day almost walk down to the sea because I live in Bandra there. So I see high tide and low tide. How does it happen? It's the gravitational forces of moon largely, and also to some extent sun. So similarly, your money can go up or can go down for lack of information, and can go up. Then you are actually armed with information. So information actually works as a moon or sun for this, creating the high tide and low tide in the money market and your world, which is financial world, and the larger world of money. So it's every dot needs to be connected. Micro, macro, you need to see in combination, and you need to keep your eyes and ears open to everything, including war, including politics, geopolitics, everything. And there, the financial journalism plays a very critical role, and it's very different from journalism. The white, I will call it, I mean, you call it political journalism or the white paper and pink paper. Pink paper is synonymous with financial journalism, and I'm sure you guys know, or some of you know, is this pink paper actually is a London Financial Times. If I remember correctly, is 1888 it started. It used to call something else, not Financial Times. It was London Financial Guide. And 1891 it turned pink. Now, why it turned pink? Because it wanted to be a little different from white paper. And also, the pink newsprint was cheaper than white newsprint. And that has become a tradition now. It's the pink paper versus white paper. Now, what's the difference between pink paper and white paper? A white paper talks about, cinema and politics and flood and drought and civic issues, political unrest, everything else. People dying, people are like Kumbh Mela, what's happening in Kumbh Mela, how many people, there's a stampede on this morning, on yesterday day, and people got killed. Everything else, it's a narrative. It's a narrative. In certain areas, film and politics, there could be some kind of extra advantage the journalists have to take you through the narrative, their way of looking at things, etc. And you get very emotionally connected there. You feel good if something has happened. You feel bad that something has happened. If there's a train accident, people died. If there are people died in drought and famine, etc., in flood, you feel so bad about it. And it's very emotional connect, I would say. And those are writers also, they are very emotional. I mean, just to give right now the example, India's cricket captain, he just scored a century in the past, the last ODI. As we speak, today's ODI, he did only one. I'm talking about Rohit Sharma. And those who have read the newspapers, white newspapers, the sports page, last 15 days, Rohit should now said goodbye. It's nothing else to do. I mean, it's high time. He take a relook at it. Essentially, just tell you goodbye. One century, it just got changed everything. Rohit is back. Nothing can beat Rohit. He is the world's greatest, all-time great everything. So it's very emotional, and I will wait for tomorrow what they say, because Rohit again scored only one today. So it's just emotional ups and downs, etc., etc. But when it comes to pink paper journalism, it's very different, because what the journalists write, what the pink paper do, based on that, people can make money and lose money. You can't but just be emotionally, today you are saying the budget is fabulous and all, and tomorrow you say, no, budget is rubbish. Today you are saying that Reserve Bank of India has done a great job. Day after tomorrow you say, no, Reserve Bank of India does not have any clue. So you can't do like this kind of stuff here. There is no question of emotion here. Here, you have to be dispassionate, you have to be right with the numbers, you have to be right, you have to interpret the numbers in the context in the right way, because there is no tomorrow here. I mean, for instance, a train accident, number of people died, actually incorrect, you can correct it the next day, because unless you put somebody who is actually alive and you use the person's name in the dead list, that's a cardinal offense. Otherwise, there is nothing much you can do about it. You got it wrong and you get it correct. So there's nothing beyond that. But here, in business journalism, in pink paper, or pink paper is a generic term I'm talking about, every media, whether it's social media or television channels or web or newspapers, which deals with business and finance, we can't afford to be emotional. And there is very, very rarely we get a chance to correct ourselves, correct our analysis, correct our numbers, because things happen real time based on what journalists write, what we do. I mean, the others, the investors, they bet on certain things. So it's very, very important to see this. And another difference between white paper journalism and pink paper journalism is this. Here the regulators play a very, very critical role. The SEBI, Reserve Bank of India, PFRDA, Pension Regulatory Authority, or say this one, your IRDA, everybody keeps a hawk eye, and on multiple issues, they step in and they correct things. And because again, as I said, it's about the financial system, it's about making money or losing money. I can give you one example from my own career. Post Lehman crisis, I got to know one large private banks. It had it was suffering from some asset liability mismatches, and it needed money desperately. I'm talking about post Lehman, October 2008, post Lehman. And this particular bank borrowed money from a public sector bank. And this money came from the London branch of that public sector bank, few thousand crore. And I got and at a very high interest rate. That shows the desperation this particular bank was going through. I got to know, I had everything on my table, but being a responsible journalist, what I did is I did not name the bank. I did not neither name the bank which borrowed at a high interest rate, nor the bank which actually lent the money, nor the interest rate. It came in a big headline story, and even though I did not name, that time everybody could guess this is the particular bank. There are multiple phone calls to me from television channels, from news agencies, overseas also. Would you like to be interviewed? Can you say who is the bank, which is the bank, etc.? I said, look, had I wanted to say, I would have said that. But it so happened that there are people who are queuing up to withdraw money from that particular bank, which is called technically run on the bank. That's a very bad time. So then what Reserve Bank of India came in the picture. Reserve Bank is one of the rarest of rare occasions. Reserve Bank of India said that everything is fine with the bank, and you don't need to bother at all, and we are there to support the bank, so on and so forth. And everything came down, cooled down. So that's the regulators play a very critical role in this segment, which I would like to believe in the normal case. There are of course your own concerns, your own thing, but there is nothing as such regulatory. This particular segment, like for politics or for film or for anything else, you have some regulator to tell you what to do or what not to do, and coming to protect the system or nothing like that. That's how this general newspaper journalism and journalism of pink paper is very different. So if you look at the news per se, in business paper, there are three very important things are there. One is news, one is views, and one is news you can use. News, just to give a quick example, Reserve Bank of India policy. 1 minute more. Reserve Bank of India's policy, credit policy, rate cut, that's news. Views is Reserve Bank of India has changes in the growth inflation dynamics. Reserve Bank of India is now focused more on growth than inflation. That's views. And what is news you can use? Reserve Bank of India has cut the rate by 25 basis point, which means your home loan, your auto loan, your vehicle loan, your personal loans will go by 25 basis point down, because for all these loans are linked to an external benchmark, which is RBI's policy rate. The moment RBI cuts the rate 25 basis point, you, me, everybody else will get the benefit out of it. That is the news you can use. At the same time, you have that is as a consumer of the banking system, as an investors, and if you are investing in banks, etc., then it says that banks' net interest margin or NIM will be under pressure, because banks are not being able to cut their deposit rates, but banks will have to cut their loan rates because of this 25 basis point cut. So if you are an investor in the banking stock, Probably be careful because banks' profitability could be hit because banks' net interest margin or NIM is under pressure. But again, this is not the full story because there are other things also in the new, in that policy, which is the so-called LCR and quite a few other instances like say banks provision requirement for infrastructure loan, etc. There are certain strict regulations where on the cards people felt, but that's no more. That's not as imminent as it could happen. The governor said that we are aware of the cost of regulations and we are very flexible. So again, it's not entirely bad for the banking system or the banking stock as you are an investor. It's a mixed thing. Banks have some positive and some negative. So it's news, it's views, and the news you can use. We have to be responsible. We can't give the half truth. Thank you.